Hey everybody, so today we're talking a little bit about muting. This is going to help you play a little bit cleaner, keep your strings from ringing out, and just having better tone on your instrument. So the first thing to think about is muting is a two-hand technique. Both our fretting and our plucking hand are going to be responsible for keeping our strings quiet. I'm going to go into that in just a second. The next thing to think about is the reason why we have extra string noise is because other strings are vibrating when we don't want them to. Remember, we're playing an electric bass. When you play a note, you push down on a string, you pluck the string vibrates, that sound goes through your pickups, through your amplifier, and comes out as a bass line. So the reason why we have all this extra noise is because other strings are vibrating, or maybe a string that we just played, we're creating extra vibrations, and we need to keep those down to a minimum. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're coming to rest on the string behind the one that you're plucking. That means if you're playing a note on your D string, your finger is going to be resting on the A string like this. So I'm using my first finger to pluck the D string, and then it's just going to come to rest on the A string. That's a really helpful thing because it automatically keeps your A string quiet. If you didn't come to rest and you accidentally plucked up a little bit, you're going to get that string to ring out, and we don't want that. When you're using your two-finger technique, so alternating plucking between your index and your middle finger, you'll realize that one note is going to be played by one of your fingers plucking the string, and then your other finger is going to be resting on one of the other strings, automatically keeping it quiet. So that alternating isn't just to help you play faster, it's to help you mute the strings. When it comes to your fretting hand, you want to make sure that, I'm getting the most bang for my buck in terms of what my fretting hand is capable of doing. It's not just there to play the notes, it's actually there to help mute the notes that you don't want to be playing. So, a great way to think about this is every time you play a note, you have your finger on the string, which is on the fretboard. When you take your finger off the string, you can sometimes create extra noise. However, if you take your finger and you release just enough pressure so that the string comes off of the fretboard, but that your finger stays on the string itself, that will help keep the string quiet. So here's the note, and now it's muted. You'll see that my finger has stayed on the string itself, it's just not pressing the string down on the fretboard. So one thing to think about is keep your fingers as close as possible to the strings, and if you're in a position to let them rest on the strings, you can do so. Again, that's a great way to keep the strings from vibrating. When I'm playing something, you'll see that sometimes my first finger will actually be gently resting on the other strings to keep them quiet. I'm not playing my G string in this part of the bass line, but my finger is staying ever so slightly on it to keep it from vibrating. That's one great thing that you can do with your fretting hand to help keep your strings quiet and to help mute other notes that you don't want ringing out. So I hope you found this helpful. Please check out my True Fire channel, my YouTube, my Patreon for more educational videos, and happy practicing.